There's Eric right there. Okay. What are we doing today, man? Heavy metal. Okay. Okay, well, let's figure this out. Ready? Eric's fixing his hair under his hat, by the way. You didn't want you to see that.
What's going on, YouTube?
Hey guys, how's it going?
So, we just installed some Corksport Injector Seals on the Mazdaspeed 3, and we want to share our experience, and a couple reasons why you would need to upgrade to better quality injector seals are essentially when you start running more boost pressure, the compression inside the cylinders becomes a lot higher. Same thing with ignition timing. The more you advance your ignition timing, you're increasing the compression inside the cylinder, effectively increasing the power output. So the OEM injector seals tend to leak. So what can happen is you can lose power because you're losing compression essentially. And so we've upgraded to Corksport injector seals, and in this video we're going to show you just exactly how to replace them. Anything you got to say to this, Joanne? I guess not. I think he wants a turbo really bad. Okay, so now I'm going to take the intake manifold off to install the Corksport injector seals. I've just removed the throttle body, so now I'm just going to start hacking my way through this intake manifold to get access to the injectors and remove the fuel rail. Just gonna, I've got the manifold disconnected. I just have to disconnect the map sensor and the oil catch can hose, and basically the manifold will just come out easily.
We're just going to take the intake manifold gasket off so we don't bend it or damage it in the process of the removal of the intake manifold.
So now we got access to the fuel rail. We're going to remove the fuel rail. I've already cracked these loose. Okay, so this was kind of a pain to take off, but we got it loose.
Next thing is to pull the injectors.
Okay, so right now we're just removing the Torx bolts, which hold the injectors in place.
Hopefully he doesn't leave like barely here.
We're also going to change these seals for the fuel rail on the injectors because we're here, might as well. Really hope these things come out easy, man. Okay, so what I noticed when I took the injector out of cylinder 1, this injector seal was leaking. This is the injector seal, the OEM injector seal right here. And look at all that oil in there. You can see it was seeping out here. So I was running more boost on the KO4, and you can see it's leaking here. So we're going to change these for the Corksport injector seals.
Cylinder 2 is also sort of leaking.
Sort of leaking, not too bad. Not as bad as number 1. Let's check number 3. Number 3 looks good. This one's not leaking. Surprisingly, because usually number 3 gets the most air. Oh, okay, so now we're going to clean the injectors off of all this carbon and soot and put the new seals on. So this is the injector seal here. I think it just pops off like so. Just like that. Look at that little thing. It's pretty small compared to the Corksports right here. So this is injector 4, and we're going to pop the Corksport injector seal onto it now. As you can see here, I am using this 90-degree pick to scrape out as much of that crap that's in there as possible. Then I'll get a rag and just wipe it off, whatever's left over. Alright, so I'm just cleaning out the injector seal cavities here because there's some oil buildup and stuff. I want it to be clean because I want the Corksport injector seals to make a very good seal. Okay, so here's the issue. We decided, since we're in here, we'll change the PCV valve. Here's the PCV valve. Here's the new PCV valve. This plastic piece right here sits on top like this, right? And all that's holding it in place are two tabs, two locking tabs. So there's one on this side and there's one on this side, and it just clips in. So in order to take this off, you have to get a very small pick and just slightly bend this piece out so it pops off the tab, and do the same thing on this side. But you got to be very careful because this thing's very fragile. It's just a piece of plastic and it can break. So luckily we didn't break it. So we're gonna change the PCV valve now, and all we got to do, I believe, is pull it out. So there it is. You can shake it. Here's the shake of the old one, and here's the shake of the new one. This one's a lot looser. This one's ready to go. So we're gonna clean out the crevice there with a rag to make sure that it's nice and clean. Sort of clean. Everybody knows how horrible these PCV systems are on the speeds. So that's gonna have to do it, and you know what? We're just gonna pop this in gently, put that there, put our retaining ring back on. There it is. It just clips on, but you gotta be very careful. Don't break it. And we're good to go. So since we took the injectors out, we're gonna be replacing the seals up here. So the only things that we ordered, there's a total of 4 different pieces here. There's two black ones near the bottom, this blue one, and another one here up top. So we only ordered the smaller, lower black one, the blue one, and the one up top. For some reason, we didn't get the one in the middle, but we don't need to change that one anyways. Or you know what, maybe we'll just leave the 2 bottom, and we'll just change the blue one and the top one. We'll leave the 2 bottom. My hands are really dirty, as you can see, but don't worry about that. Here's the new seal right there, okay? And the new grommet. We didn't change the bottom ones because they're kind of hard to take off. Here's the Corksport Injector Seal, and we're just gonna slide it on. And as far as I know, that's it. Let's put it in now. This is cylinder number 2, so all we gotta do, line that up, and we're good to go. Let's do the next one. Okay, plugging the injectors in now.
But yeah, we lubed up these blue seals.
Stuff's biodegradable.
You're biodegradable.
So are you.
I know. That's the beauty of it.
Yep, we're all f***ing Buddhists.
What? To make it easier for the fuel rail to go on.
Okay, so just getting the fuel rail prepped. Make sure you don't leave any seals in these holes, and make sure they're clean. Make sure this is clean as well. Make sure this is clean. Make sure everything's clean. Let's put the fuel rail in. Okay, so basically we just loosened these 10 mils. We cleaned this off and we lubricated the seal with some Vaseline as well. Also, as mentioned before, we lubed those up as well. So let's slowly just slide this on nice and easy. Now make sure the seals go on, and make sure the seals don't get pinched or ripped. I lose my mind here. Holy f***, man.
Okay, so it slid in. We needed 2 hands, and we had to apply even pressure on the injectors to get this to pop in. And now we just need to put those back in.
As well as these 2 10s on the side here. And don't forget to plug in the low return line. Okay, tightening the fuel rail up right now. Tightened up the side line there, attached the return line. Hooked up the oil catch can hose to the PCV valve, and that runs right back down to the catch can. When we put the manifold on, we'll have to reattach the intake manifold side of the catch can hose. And
map
make
sensor.
Sure we gotta plug the fuel rail pressure sensor back in. Plug the map sensor back in when the And the intake manifold goes back on. And it looks like we're almost ready to put the manifold on here. We were gonna paint it, but we didn't have time because we wanted to paint it the same color as this valve cover, but we'll do it next time when we do what? When we clean the valves. Yeah, when we clean the valves, we'll paint the manifold. Got our gasket on now, ready to put the manifold back in. Okay, so we had an issue getting the catch can hoses back on, but we got it back on. We got our gasket on, we're gonna put this thing back on now and tighten it up. And then from there, we are going to, actually, come to think of it, we forgot to put the shield on for the fuel rail, this one here. This just goes on like this. Back a little bit. This, and it just bolts up right there. These two right here, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. Yep.
Thanks for watching. Click here for more information.
Can I tighten this one?
Intake manifold is on. Next up is the throttle body, and then we will seat the power steering pump, and then all the electronics, and then the intercooler. Throttle body's installed. Everything is coming together now. We're about to finally close this up and get some sleep. I'm kind of glad to go to sleep. I could go for some sleep. Now.
Oh man, I'm tired. I gotta get this done and start the week off fresh.
Okay, we have our intake on now.
With this 3-inch intake, there's this radiator or this coolant hose that goes into the cabin for the heater core. And there is something you can buy to extend that from HTP. I'm probably gonna be buying that.
It's getting close to startup time. All that's left is the battery and ECU mounting.
Oh shit.
You got this, man, you got it.
Ooh,
Oh, that didn't sound good.
fatigue. You shaking there?
Battery's in. Battery bracket is not in. The ECU is propped up high. This mod allows more signal. Alright.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a lot of work. We basically, today what we did was we did basically timing chain, and we installed the Corksport Injector Seals and replaced the PCV valve. So it was pretty much a 2-day job in a garage here. And you know what? It's good because we're ready to turn on the boost now that everything is done.
There's no fuel. Yeah, there's no fuel in the lines.